Happy Leo times and happy Leo partial solar eclipse tomorrow on August 11th, 2018. So the lion greets you, this Leo lion from your Jofre Boschart. And as you see, the crown and the solar plexus, of course, as well as the heart, are the body and aura areas of Leo that want to be cultivated and infused with light so that they can radiate out and express all the love and all the strength that Leo represents. Hi everyone, so I am Melanie Lichtinger here, astrologer from Victoria, beautiful British Columbia, West Coast, and would love to offer you today some video astro news for a change. Felt inspired to do that, to play, to show, and experiment. Also under Mercury retrograde, so many retrograde planets reminded me that I haven't done a video in so long, and actually it can be totally fun. So what's up with that partial solar eclipse tomorrow? It is a seed eclipse. It is a super new moon. It closes the summer eclipse gate, where we had 3 eclipses this year. Actually, a new moon partial solar eclipse in Cancer on July the 12th, 13th, and then the central one was a total lunar eclipse on the July 27th, 28th. And then tomorrow we'll have a partial solar eclipse in Leo. All about love, all about welcoming ourselves into our loving heart and expressing from there, connecting with others, not isolating and going into separation, even going into war and battle, where the Aquarius Mars and South Node and that shadow expression of Aquarius could be, and to really show ourselves more fully, actually. What else is up with that eclipse? I have the chart of the eclipse. Maybe you want to see it. Here it is. That's pretty busy. There's a lot going on here, right? So where is Leo even? Okay, here on the side. Okay, mirroring here. So here is Leo with the new moon, silent moon, with Mercury still retrograde. But Mercury has actually stepped behind the sun just 2 days ago. Today's the 10th, so that was on the 8th of August, on 8/8. Very powerful day in its own right. Say a little bit more about that. But for Mercury, it's been the halfway point of the Mercury retro phase, and that's really actually a significant point. Not many astrologers talk about it. It is called the point of enlightening insight. Why? Because it's Mercury, the insight, and the light comes from the sun, because Mercury and the sun are conjunct, and Mercury is now not running the show, not being ahead of the game, not being ahead of the sun, which is spirit, consciousness, and the heart, actually. And Mercury has been ahead of the sun for the last while, until it reached the the furthest point from which it went retrograde on the 25th of July. And now it's retro, has gone backwards. As you see here, Mercury is already behind the sun, just barely, has been ahead of the sun, has gone retrograde, and now the sun is ahead of Mercury again. In other words, our heart, our spirit, our consciousness can lead, and the mind is a servant, is basically expressing what the heart and what the spirit is here for. So that's good news, because now we have also new Mercury. We can lead from a different place, we can communicate from a different place, and so after this, often I've been asked regarding Mercury retro, Is this, shall we put everything on hold? Shall we just basically be paralyzed and on retreat with Mercury retrograde? Not necessarily, no, just being mindful in a way that is not about having the mind full, but being aware and conscious and noticing, witnessing what the mind is doing. And maybe stepping away from being overly identified with the mind. And when we are the witness, we can be more really in our spirit, in consciousness. Now, with that halfway point of Mercury retrograde, things can shift again. And from the old stories, which came up under the first half of Mercury retrograde, that's called the Epimethean phase. Epos means basically an old story. We're moving now into the Promethean phase, and Prometheus is also the awakener. It's the forward thinker, the visionary. And this can be actually a beautiful time for new insights, for new visions, really great brainstorming ideas that come from more enlightened rather than a mentally identified place. And so to take it from there, so it is actually from now on pretty good energy to project our heart and our inspiration forward. And I would say after Mercury retrograde phase is completely over and settled, rather from September on, a better time to really implement those ideas. So this much for Mercury, but also 8-8 has been, is every year a powerful 8-8 power gate in the center of Leo. And it's also the time when Sirius rises again. Sirius, have you seen Sirius in a telescope? I hope you have, because it's so beautiful. Bright blue, cobalt blue star. I really love Sirius. And it's a winter, usually shows up in fall and winter when you can see Sirius in the sky. And it's the brightest star of the constellation of the dog, which is Canis Major, Canis Major, the great dog. That's why also Sirius is called the dog star, and that's why we have the dog days of summer when Sirius rises again before the sun, are also the hottest days of the year. They certainly are here in Victoria, and seems like it's already mellowing out a bit next week. So Sirius has risen, the 8-8 power gate is open, Mercury has come halfway in its Mercury retrograde phase, and a new Mercury is here. All of that being channeled with the partial solar eclipse in Leo. And there's even more to it. I hope you can take it, because there's lots of gifts and lots of points that are very special about this solar eclipse, and I listed them all out in my Astro News blog, which I wrote before, and I will put a link to it so you can read things up if you like. I put a link down below the video. So what else is so special? I mean, Leo itself is always special, and everybody is special, and we want to really celebrate life and love and everybody's specialness with Leo, and to love ourselves fully. What does that mean? What does that bring up for you? If you look into your chart, where Leo is in your chart, that's where this heart Leo axis comes in, and maybe also issues around that, around showing yourself, around fully loving yourself as you are, opening your heart, being creative. So that depends on your chart, and if you like, we can look at that together, of course, in a session. Can be a focus session, can be a full-on astrology session. I have actually also this month my anniversary of my practice, believe it or not, 18 years. I'm so happy about that, having followed my heart and started my life all over again with astrology, and here living in Victoria. Was quite a big turnover year, believe me, in 2000. Anyhow, I'm celebrating 18 years of my practice, and I'm giving my clients this month discounts depending on how long you've been my clients. Can be 11% or 22 or even 33% discount. So check it out. More about the eclipse. So here is again the chart. And as you can see in the chart, there's something really special about this eclipse because it has what's called a yod. Yod is this elongated green triangle that points right to the sun and moon, which is the new moon, which is the eclipse. A yod is called also a celestial pointer. Even it's called a finger of God, a finger of fate, a finger of destiny. What is it pointing to and where is it pointing from? Let's start where it's pointing from because that's foundation. That's also our vantage point. So in this case, it's pointing from Pluto here. This is one of the pointer foundations. Pluto here retrograde in Capricorn, and Neptune here also retrograde in Pisces. Pluto is a big transformer. It's evolution. It's the bigger processes in life that we're all part of. Pluto in Capricorn points us or incentivizes us to be in ultimate power, which is not a power over, which is not like the old Capricornian patriarchal hierarchical world, power over and disempowering others, actually power at the expense of others, or being the one who's being exploited actually or abused. The total shadows of Capricorn, since Capricorn also has the expression I use. So how can we use our precious lifetime, the love that's in us, and resources, which is a big Capricorn theme, resources wisely and for the evolution, and not waste our time, our energy on sort of downward spiraling circles where we're not moving forward. We're actually self-destructive, or something is destructive and not really empowering. So to connect with ultimate power is the key. And to notice when something is actually comes out in a powerful way, we are having energy to do things. We're not efforting, we're not resisting, we're not working against basically gravity or getting depressed over things. So what is it that brings us to essence, to core, to the source of energy? That would be one of the foundational points from which to move to this solar eclipse energy that is pointed out. And the other point is a Neptune here in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces has been there since 2012 and will be still there till 2026. By the way, Pluto in Capricorn is also in for the long haul since 2008 and until 2023. So these long-term transpersonal influences are really here to change us and to mirror the change that's going on in life and on planet Earth. I'm taking a sip of water as I'm talking about Neptune any second. Yeah, so Neptune is, if Pluto is transformation, Neptune is transcendence. And to let go, to transcend, to drop into the oneness, into the unity of life, knowing that we are like a drop of water in the ocean. Everything is connected. And in that place, we're in flow, we're at ease, we're in we're supported because we're in unity consciousness, and in the flow and in the grace. So that place is always to be found within. Neptune is retrograde, just like Pluto being retrograde. The power is within. The flow, the ease, the connectedness is within. We don't need to look for it on the outside by trying to I know, like for example, finding sources and finding tools and finding medicine that connects us and has us surrender. In other words, also substances and drugs. But that's artificial and it's temporary. And so Neptune brings us that awareness and that connection that is always available. And from both of these very powerful places, we are out on a pilgrimage. A yacht is like a pilgrimage, I usually say. It's a journey, and it has a direction, but not really a destination. So it's not about something that you find and that you ultimately reach. It's which is love. You can't really reach it. It's always there, and you're walking with it and in it. So that's an energy of that solar eclipse that we're having here. Beautiful with a yacht. What else is there? Let me just check here on my blog in terms of all these points for the for the partial solar eclipse. Yeah, it's a seed eclipse because I call it a seed eclipse because it comes with a north node. So eclipses can come either with the north node, too much light here, too much Leo light. So here's the north node, and a new moon comes with a north node, and I call that a seed eclipse. The south node, exactly opposite, would be in Aquarius. A new seed is being planted for Leo, strength, love, and creativity coming from the heart. So this is the emphasis is more on planting a seed rather than releasing old energy, which would be a release eclipse with the south node. And this eclipses come in cycles, and they're actually pretty exact. So this eclipse goes back to a cycle that started also on August 11th, 1999, exactly 19 years ago. There was also an eclipse. It was actually a total solar eclipse. And the path was in Europe. I was actually there and I watched it. I was exposed to it. I took it in. It was pretty powerful for me. I wrote a little bit about that in the blog. And so exactly 19 years ago was also a solar eclipse, even more powerful eclipse, as I said, a total solar eclipse in Leo. So check it out where you were at that time, and if you have a bit of sense of your chart, where this 18, 19 degrees of Leo is in your chart. That was activated then, is activated now as well. So do some journaling, and what else? Yes, the yacht, I wrote about that. And Sirius, yes, Mercury retro. Yeah, that's about it. So this has been actually quite how long has been talking already? 16 minutes. So I better wrap up here. Time flies, and I wish you well. So much love for and in this partial solar eclipse, and always love you, heart. Ciao, ciao.